Hello neighbors, it's Brad here at eTrailer, and today we're taking a look at the TecNiq SteelHead LED work lights in a spot pattern. Now this is going to be available in black aluminum or white aluminum. So you're probably asking, what does the light look like when it's in use? And I can tell you right now, it is extremely bright. There's 1900 lumens on a spot pattern, so that light is extremely concentrated. And I'm about 15 foot away from the light itself, and you can see the pattern with my arms out. It's about 6 foot, so it's nice and concentrated in that specific area, and you are getting a lot of light. That way you can focus on a specific work area or focus on exactly what you're working on right then and there. So that was just the power of one actual fixture. Now they work great in a pair as well, and you can see it is extremely illuminated, but if you need to focus on two separate work areas, you can actually move the other one, and you can see that light stays pretty concentrated in that beam pattern. Now these are two of them lit right now. They do come as a quantity of one when you order, and they're pretty bright. But as a pair, it's nice to be able to concentrate two different areas, and that way you can really fine tune where you needed to go and have plenty of light to see when you're backing up to a trailer, hooking up to anything with your truck, or just doing some work as the sun goes down. Now, if the spot pattern is a little too concentrated and you want to actually illuminate a larger area rather than a small spot, they're actually available in that same 1900 lumens, but in a flood pattern, which is going to disperse that light out wider rather than beaming it in a little more narrow yet concentrated light. Now, taking a closer look at the light, you're going to see this has 6 diodes creating that nice spot pattern, and it's all in a nice waterproof housing here. It's got a nice black powder coat finish. It is also available in a white aluminum as well, but that's going to make this a very robust light, and it's going to hold up over time. It's also pretty compact for the amount of light that it puts out, being that it's a little bit over 6 inches and 3 inches by 2. So overall, really small, you get a lot of light, so that's a win there. Going along with some of that durability, it has military grade circuit boards, so over time those wires aren't going to get loose inside of here. It's also nice that it has this integrated heat sink in the actual housing itself, which gives it thermal protection, keeping it from overheating and causing damage to the light. Installation is going to be very easy, as it has a pedestal style mount that's going to allow you to really get a bunch of different angles so you can focus that concentrated beam on wherever you need it to be. And so mounting it, you can see here, is just one bolt. And so if you could pick up a mount, that's going to be great, but if you're going to mount directly to your light bar, your headache rack, or whatever you have on your truck or camper, it's going to be pretty easy to get this mounted up exactly where you want it. Now, as far as the wiring goes, it's just 2 wires, a white and a black. It's going to go to your positive and negative, and then run to your power source, and that's going to be it. Speaking of installation, let's take a look at how to get this wired up. To begin your install, you're going to want to find a place to tie into power and ground. Now, this particular cable has a distribution panel that has a switch already into it, so we're going to be using this. But if you don't have a distribution panel, there's plenty of switches available here, and that's going to allow you to turn that on and off and cut that power whenever you don't want those lights to be on. But you are going to need to tie into that power of your battery as well as the negative to get these to work. Now, we already have our switch installed, but if you were to wire up your own switch, here's an idea of kind of how it's going to look. You're going to have your 2 wires coming from your battery, your positive and negative, and those are simply going to tie into the same spade connector as your wiring that's going to go to the light itself. And really your switch is just a disconnect. Doing this is going to allow that power to actually create a full circuit, and when you close that off, it's going to shut it off here. So pretty easy. So if you need to wire up your switch, here's a nice diagram on how to do that. Then from your switch, you're going to want to run a positive and negative duplex wire to wherever your mounting location be. So on our camper, we're actually putting it on the back here on our Rhino rack. If you have a truck, maybe you're putting it on your headache bar or your front push bar, whatever it may be. So make sure that you have enough wire to be able to run there. And if you need to pick some up, we actually have some here at eTrailer. Now, the next thing that you're going to want to do is determine how you want to mount your light. And here we actually have a heavy duty bracket specifically for the Rhino rack that goes in the track here, which is really nice. Now you may not have this identical rack, which there's plenty of other options available for a mounting bracket, and really all you need to do is make sure that this is actually run through and clamped on. You can see I've actually added a washer here just for a little bit of extra bite. So if you were mounting it on to a solid surface, maybe the roof here, you could actually just drill down, run that through, and make sure that that tightens up. This is a carriage bolt style up top on the bolt, so that's nice. It's going to hold it in place as we tighten it down. So on the back side, you're going to see we have 2 wires coming off here. So we're just going to match our corresponding wires. Black is going to be our positive, white is going to be our ground. Now we're going to be using spade connectors just because we're going to be test fitting quite a few lights here. It's going to make for a quick and easy disconnect to put the next light on. But if you're routing this and it's going to live outside the vehicle, or any of the wiring is going to be outside the vehicle, I highly suggest picking up some heat shrink butt connectors. And these are really nice because once you actually crimp these down, you take a heat gun, these are going to cinch around, creating a watertight seal, so that way your connections aren't going to get corroded or get brittle over time. These are going to hold these in place really nicely. And then your next step is going to be running some wire loom or something to keep these wires protected, just for an added clean look. It's kind of up to you. If you can tuck these wires into something to hide it, that's going to be great, but you're going to want to make sure that they are tucked away so things don't catch them and they stay protected. And that was a look at the TecNiq SteelHead LED work lights in a spot pattern, available in black aluminum as well as white aluminum.